excited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drosbeck. If you are watching the video version of this show, I'm assuming you can see in the mirror just behind me that I put up my Christmas tree this week, and it looks beautiful and gorgeous. This is the first year that I've actually decorated my tree, which is crazy to say out loud. I don't know why I've never decorated my tree. I guess because it's just like a fake plastic tree that I keep in storage. And it has lights that already come on it. So every year I've just like been plugging the tree in and being like, here it is. Here's my tree. Also, I didn't have anywhere to put the ornaments, like in between. I barely had room to keep the tree hidden in my apartment, but I do have a storage unit now. So anyways, got some ornaments. Tree's nicely decorated, and I can't believe that this tree was bare for the last 3-4 years that I've had this fucking tree. It looks great. I'm so excited about it. I've been on the hunt for an ornament that I had when I was a child. It was like the only ornament that mattered to me and my siblings, and it was this chicken coop that the bunch of chickens sung jingle bells when you hit a button, but they sang it like bok 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 bok. And we loved this fucking ornament. And every year my parents would get like huge Christmas trees, but my dad isn't very handy, so when it came to securing the tree to the ceiling so that it wouldn't tip over from the weight of the lights and the ornaments and everything, wasn't always the greatest at that. So I feel like most of the years of my childhood, the Christmas tree would fall over in the middle of the night and all of our ornaments would break. This happened several times throughout my childhood. And one of the times that the tree fell over in the middle of the night, the chicken ornament broke. We used to call it the bok box. Obviously, fucking who wouldn't call it the buck box? The buck box died. They were taken out because my father didn't secure the tree to the ceiling well enough, and then that was that, and we never saw from them again. But I've thought about this ornament every day of my life since, and now that I'm decorating my own tree, I was like, I wonder if I can find the buck box online. I wonder if there's any way that I can find this ornament. It was a limited edition Hallmark ornament made in 1999, and I found it on eBay, bought it, came in, it's broken. I was pissed. So I have one, it's now broken. I've now ordered a second one that I found online that I'm hoping this one is not going to be broken, and if it is broken, I will try my hardest to find a third version of this fucking ornament, because I think it would be so sweet to have a version of my favorite childhood ornament on my tree so me and Mango can enjoy it. Which Mango's new favorite spot to hang out is now in the very back of the tree on the tree skirt. This is where she's been napping. She's there right now. And she just looks so friggin' cute back there. I've been like, where is she? You know, looking around, looking at all her usual hiding spots. And then every time I see that she's hiding like in the tree like that, it just makes my heart feel full. It's like seeing your child experience Christmas joy. It just makes me feel happy because I'm like, oh my God, she loves it. She loves the fucking tree. This is her favorite holiday. She loves Christmas. She's a Christmas girl. Of course she is. And every year I wrap her presents and I put them under the tree and I fill up her little mini stocking with treats. It's so fun having a child, except your child is a cat and she just loves the shit out of you and never has anything bad to say, is just the sweetest girl on planet Earth. And I love her so much. I love her so fucking much. But we needed a little joy this week. So the Christmas decorations have gone up and it's hitting for me. It's doing the job. I am absolutely feeling the joy and I'm happy that they're up. And now I just feel like I need to start buying presents so I can put them underneath the tree, because that's really what brings the whole story home for me, is like seeing gifts wrapped under the tree. Also, I kind of enjoy the process of gift wrapping and doing that whole thing. I've been trying very hard to get better at it over the years so that my gifts look a little bit more adult and polished. I don't know. That's one of those things where like shittily wrapping a Christmas present just feels like I don't know, it makes me feel like a baby when I can't do it correctly. And I'm like, you're an adult. You are getting older. You need to be good at wrapping presents now. And that seems random, but it's not, okay? Because what adult woman do you know that's bad at wrapping gifts? Every single mom on earth is good at wrapping gifts. Now, I'm not planning on having children now or anytime soon or ever. So it's not like I need to have that mom energy necessarily, but I just think, I don't know why I feel the pressure to be good at wrapping gifts. I don't know, but I do, and I would like to be better at it, and I need gifts to put under my fucking tree. But my problem now this year is that I have no idea what to get anyone. But it's just important to me that I am a good gift giver. It's important to me that I think of something really good and really specific that other people don't even realize that they want. I bought my little brother some gifts already. I don't think he's listening to this, so I'm not going to say what it is. Luke, if you're listening to this, turn it off. But I know that my little brother, he starting to get into fashion a little bit, and I know that he trusts my judgment. So I was like, that's so fun for me to just buy my little brother clothes that I think are really fucking cool. So I got him some pieces that I think are sick, that I think he's gonna like, that I'm excited about. So I love stuff like that, where it's like, oh, I can use my skill set to buy a gift that this person's gonna love. So I do love buying clothes for people. So my brother's the only one that I've shopped for so far, and I've got a lot of, my sister's usually the easiest one to shop for, because for her it's like whatever I would like, she would probably like too, so I can just basically act as if I'm shopping for myself. But my sister's birthday is also in November. It just passed, so I used up one of my ideas right fucking now for her birthday. I got her a few months subscription to Nuuly, because I do love my Nuuly. This sweater is rented from Nuuly. So I thought that was a good gift idea. But I don't know. I feel like the past few years I've used up a lot of my good gift ideas. Bidets were a big gift of mine. I've gifted like 4 or 5 bidets in my time, because I know how important my bidet is to me, and they're not that expensive. $100 on Tushy, and it's life-changing, and it's worth every fucking penny. So I think that's a great gift, but I feel like I've sort of maxed out the amount of bidets I can give in my lifetime. And then I don't know, I'm hoping inspiration will hit me before Black Friday so I can get some of these fucking deals. Speaking of deals, if you're interested in buying some Emotionally Online merch, the Emotionally Online merch site will be having a Black Friday sale, 20% off. So if you've had an eye on the merch from the show, or you know someone who's a big fan of this show and might want to rep the Emotionally Online community in their day-to-day lives, might want to walk around and let people know that they are emotionally online, that they are emotionally available. If you want to say, I listen to the world's best podcast and I'm emotionally in tune, this merch could be great for you or someone you love. So here's your heads up that we are having a Black Friday sale. So 20% off. Keep an eye out. Keep it on the top of your brains, baby. So I was scrolling on Instagram last night, and I came across this clip of a podcast, another Bros Being Bros podcast, where it's just a bunch of dudes sitting around talking about something. I don't know who these people are. I didn't even save the clip, so I have nothing to reference here. So anyways, I'm glad I watched this clip all the way through, because this is a perfect modern example of stolen valor. This guy was sitting on this podcast giving a little spiel to his buddies about how easy it is to make a girl orgasm in Cowgirl. And I said, okay, repeat that for me. How easy it is to make a girl orgasm in Cowgirl. And I said, okay, hold on, let's back up here. You're making her orgasm in Cowgirl? You're doing it? That was your doing in Cowgirl? Let's do some thinking here. Let's put on our thinking caps. I was like, I thought it was like all of a sudden every time I've ever done cowgirl, memories washed over me. I'm like looking back and forth, like just remembering every single time I've been in cowgirl. And the idea that any man would have experienced doing cowgirl with me and then thought to himself, fucking, I'm so good at sex. I made her come like crazy, dude. Stolen valor. That is stolen valor. That's all me, babe. I did that. That's my orgasm that I rightfully earned and worked for. I fucked myself in cowgirl, okay? Let's be so fucking clear. I was like, no, that's not how this is working. If I orgasm in cowgirl, it's because I did a great job. If I orgasm in cowgirl, what do you mean? That's not you. You're not doing that work. I was like, I had such an immediate reaction to it where I was like, he's taking credit for something he didn't do. He's taking credit for something he didn't do. He's putting his name on the project, on the homework, and he barely contributed anything. He just showed up. Meanwhile, I was going to town, okay? I was training for the fucking Olympics. And then he said, it's so easy to do this. It's so easy to make a girl come in cowgirl. Meanwhile, I was putting in blood, sweat, and tears to achieve that orgasm because it was me, babe. It was me that was going crazy. Now, that's not to say that you can't have a little bit of credit. You just can't be carrying the bulk of the weight for that. You can't. Because here's the thing. We could talk about all these, different variations of cowgirl or how much action the person underneath is doing during positions like cowgirl, or we could even talk about it in reverse. If we're talking missionary, if you want to do that, even if you're not dead fishing it, it's still all me. What are we talking? And you know what? I would say the same thing reversed, but you just have to own it. You just have to own that is what it is. That's the appeal, right? The appeal, the same way that I always say, the part of the appeal of missionary to me is that it's fucking easier. Part of the reason why I love missionary and why I have said the missionary is my favorite sex position, and I'm not going to feel bad about that, is because it is fucking easy. It's fucking easy and enjoyable, okay? Because if I'm laying on my back and I'm moving my hips and grinding and thrusting with the person in missionary, that's still easier than if I was doing cowgirl, right? The same way when I'm doing cowgirl and he's thrusting and grinding with me or helping me with my hips, it's not harder. It's not harder. It's the easier gig, okay? You got it smooth sailing, my guy. That's me. I get the credit for that. I was the one doing jumping jacks. So anyways, the same way that I clearly am not carrying the bulk of the work in missionary, you are not carrying the bulk of the work in cowgirl. If I orgasm in cowgirl, that's on me, okay? You didn't make me come. I did. That was all me. Oh my God. Stolen valor, all right? If you want to go to your friends and tell them that you made me fucking toes curl, legs shake orgasm, if you want to tell your friends you did that, you need to make sure it doesn't happen in cowgirl, all right? Because if it happens in cowgirl, that was me. I did that. So anyways, I couldn't believe my eyeballs. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe my eyes and ears. I was like, no, we can't let them get away with this. Not in here on this day. No, we cannot. Speaking of stolen valor, Skims nipple bra. We have to talk about it because this is another same vein. Same fucking vein. Skims nipple bra. If you haven't seen it, basically Skims put out a bra that has nipples on it. So when you wear it underneath your shirt, it makes you look like you have hard nipples. Which, listen, I have been braless since 2019. I do not wear a bra unless an outfit requires one, unless I absolutely have to. 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times, I am braless. I am walking about my life, titties roaming free. And it's the best. It's one of the best choices I ever made, was going braless, getting rid of bras, letting my muscles strengthen. I talk all the time about how much pain I used to have in my chest and back because of my boobs. My nipples used to ache all the time, and it was because of bras. The second that I stopped wearing bras and the muscles strengthened, all of that pain went away. I do not feel any type of pain in my chest or my back now unless I'm exercising without proper support. That's the only thing that will hurt me, is if I'm bouncing around too much and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's happening here? I need a sports bra for this. Anyways, love it. Love living my braless life. And I am often a part of the hard nipple gang. Okay? My nipples are often seen through my shirt because I'm not wearing a bra. And sometimes nipples be nippling. And I've said that I love it. It's an accessory to me, and it's hot. And I think I'm probably unique in this in some ways, in like how truly unapologetic I feel about it and how little I care about my nipples showing through. It doesn't feel inappropriate to me whatsoever, and I don't care. I genuinely do not care if the overall consensus is that it is inappropriate. I stopped wearing bras in 2019. It was right before I graduated college. It was January 2019 that I stopped wearing bras, and I had desk jobs after that. I would go to work without a bra all the time. Nipples would be showing. I didn't care. Granted, I worked in fucking marketing in New York City. So nobody really gives a fuck here. So I get that not everybody's brain is going to function the way that mine does, because I've existed in a very specific setting and group of people, and it hasn't mattered to me. Anyways, Skims nipple bra. In one way, is kind of stolen valor from the people that have chosen to go braless. Instead of choosing to go braless, you are now pretending you have chosen to go braless, to go against the grain, to let your titties roam free, to go nipples out and not give a fuck. You are stealing the glory a little bit by wearing a bra with a fake nipple inside of it. That's number one. Right? And see, I'm smiling and I'm like, hee hee hee, while we're having this conversation. This is where I'm going to switch. And I'm going to say something that I'm actually a little bit more serious about than what I'm saying right now. But I am fascinated by products like this that come up as part of like it's a little bit trendy. It's playing into what people think is hot and sexy. It's a little bit edgy. It does go against the grain a little bit. So the marketing convinces you that you're sort of going against the norm, going against what is accepted. But at the same time, you are perpetuating an idea of what the perfect boob and nipple should look like. And I know I'm ruining all the fun, but I do think it's worth mentioning. When I first saw the Skims nipple bra, I was like, first of all, this only works on people with smaller chests, because if you have bigger boobs, your nipple is not sitting on top here. Your nipple's on the bottom. Your nipple's on the bottom of your boob. If you have big boobs and they're natural, they're not fake boobs, they're not perky like that. There's something so frustrating to me. And I used to talk about this a bunch. I did a video a few years ago on like, it was called A Celebration of Saggy Boobs. It was one of the first videos that like did really well for my channel. So some of you might have found me because of that video. But I used to think about it all the time around that time when I had stopped wearing bras for 2 years at that point. And I think I did a lot of reflection around that time of like what the perfect set of boobs looks like in the eyes of the beauty standard who has these perfect boobs. And the truth is that nobody does unless they're fake. But that's a lot of money. And also, we don't need to change our bodies in order to be beautiful and worthy and sexy and gorgeous and whatever else. Right? But they want you to have big boobs, but they also have to be perky with the nipple up, not down. And they have to be perfectly round and perfectly even. And everything that I just described to you is literally impossible for someone to have all of them. That's not how boobs look like. No stretch marks on your boobs at all, but they also have to be big. How does that work? How does that fucking work? No stretch marks on your boobs, but they're also big? Shut up. Shut up. Not how that works. So I don't know. When I see products like the Skims nipple bra, it just seems to play into the like inferiority that people already feel in like why their boobs are not perfect enough as they are. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Like, yeah, I want to go braless and lean into my empowerment and like show my nipples, but my nipples are not good enough as they are. So actually I'm going to buy this nipple bra so I can play into like feeling empowered by going against the grain and letting my nipples show through my shirt as like an act of rebellion, but actually they're not my nipples because my real nipples aren't good enough. I don't like it. It just gives me an icky feeling. The braless conversation really is so interesting to me because I've had so many conversations with people throughout like the years that I've been braless, because the second anybody starts talking about like hating wearing bras or debating going braless, I'm the first person to be like, I think you should. Because number one, it'll probably relieve a lot of pain. I think bras are the cause of a lot of people's breast pain and issues. They were the cause of mine. And also it is just like so freeing and so liberating to be like, I actually don't need this. Like this product that's been sold to me my whole life, I actually have no reason for it. Now, that's not to say that there's never a reason for it. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to feel the way that I feel, right? Because for me, it's like there's a reason for it in certain outfits. If I'm wearing something lace or sheer, or even if I'm wearing a crop top, my nipples are going to hang out the fucking bottom in a shirt like that. So in certain items of clothing, it makes sense for me to wear a bra. Obviously, there is a legitimate reason and need and purpose for one when it comes to sports bras, exercising, anything you're going to be doing that's requiring quite a bit of movement. Obviously there's a purpose there, but I think a lot of bras, like wearing a bra with a t-shirt, or like if I was wearing a bra with this, I'm wearing a fucking sweater right now. The fact that like there's always been a reason to wear a bra, and it's like always been sold to us as like, oh, here's a t-shirt bra. They actually call them t-shirt bras. It's supposed to look seamless underneath your shirt, but they're also pushing you up to the fucking gods so that you look like you have big tits even in a fucking t-shirt. Huh? It's stupid. It's dumb. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of always rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, this item of clothing is painful, and I feel like there's actually no reason for us to wear them every single day. For why? Also, you're never going to be able to convince me that there's something about my boobs that's inherently inappropriate, or something about my nipples that's inherently inappropriate, and that I shouldn't be able to wear, like, go braless in a work setting. That's stupid to me. And I honestly don't care if other people, older people, are going to look at me weird and be like, why is she going braless in a work setting? Don't care. Because then you just look like the weirdo if you call that out. I'm like, why didn't you wear a bra to work today? Why are you looking? Are you studying my boobs? What's inappropriate about the fact that I have boobs? Sorry, I have them. They're here. What would you like me to do about it? I don't know. It pisses me off. Anyways, not to take a hard left there, but I just have been seeing the bra all over the place, and there's something about it that rubs me the wrong way. It does. It rubs me the wrong way. So we can hee and ha ha about stolen valor, but also I think there's something deeper going on there. And I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Speaking of tits, got a good submission in the box a few weeks ago that I've been sitting on, trying to gather my thoughts on, okay? They said, "Hello, Maddie. I know you've talked about the great dick and cock debate, but I'd love to know your views on the great tit and boob debate. I don't know if anyone else is talking about this, but it came up during a discussion with my friend group after one of them mentioned that they hate when men use the word tits and it icks them out. They were saying that they feel like it makes them think of gross misogynistic locker room talk, which is totally valid. So I asked them what word their partners use, and they said boob. All 4 of my friends agree on this. I was the only one in my friend group who preferred the word tits when it comes to dirty talk, and I felt like I was the weird one. I'm not judging my friends, but the thought of someone I'm being intimate with muttering, 'Let me suck on those beautiful boobs,' makes me laugh so hard. What's your take on this? Am I the weird one here?" I saw this and I had to sit in it because, I mean, honestly, my answer came to me directly and I knew what I was going to say directly, but I needed to really sit in it and live through it and just let the answer breathe into my body before speaking. So we've thought about this, right? We know great dick and cock debate, the debate of which word you would rather use in the bedroom during dirty talk, dick or cock. I say that I would rather say cock because it seems just like more dramatic and fun, and there's something about it that's like specific to the bedroom, right? Because we say dick so colloquially that it sort of takes me out of it. So for dirty talk, dick or cock, I like cock better. Now, I had never thought about this in terms of tits and boobs. Ever. So this is big. This is huge breakthrough topic in the emotionally online cinematic universe, okay? I think my answer is this. In dirty talk, and dirty talk specifically, I think I would rather you say tits. Outside of dirty talk, I would rather you say boobs. Like if I'm seeing someone and I'm wearing a dress or a shirt and my boobs look incredible, I want them to tell me that my boobs look incredible. Not that my tits look incredible. If someone was like, "Your tits look incredible," I'd be like, "Thanks." I don't know. There's something, tits definitely is a more aggressive word. For sure. The same way that cock is a more aggressive word. But that's why it's great in dirty talk. Because it's like, almost like we wouldn't say this outside of dirty talk because it's a little bit too like, whoa, that's wild. But because we're not using it so often in our day to day, then it's like even, it makes more sense in dirty talk. I don't know. Because I think for me, like if I'm dirty talking with someone and we're getting into it, like yeah, I do want, they can, I mean, you can say a lot of things in dirty talk that you can't say to me day to day. Like in dirty talk, you can say a lot more that you couldn't in a day-to-day conversation with me. You can call me a lot more things in dirty talk than you can in like an everyday conversation. Things that in a day-to-day conversation I may be like, "Oh my God, why would you say that to me?" In dirty talk are fine. So it more goes for me in dirty talk. It's not like I don't need you to be super respectful. I'm not that you're being disrespectful, but do you know what I'm saying? You don't need to be as like, to me, during dirty talk, because it's dirty talk. So like, yeah, when I'm having sex with you, my boobs are tits. You know what I mean? When we're fucking, when I'm naked and doing disgusting things, yeah, they are tits, and you can call them tits, and fine. But when they're not, you know, when I'm just looking beautiful and gorgeous across from you at like a steak dinner, then they're boobs. They change, the name changes in different contexts, right? I think I even refer to them, because I might refer to them as boobs or as tits depending on how I'm talking or what I'm talking about. Like if I'm talking about how sexy I look in lingerie, I'll probably say tits. But if I'm talking about like comfort of a sports bra, I'm going to say boobs. Right? There's just different energies to these words. There's nothing misogynistic to me about saying the word tits necessarily. Like, I get what your friend is saying, but I don't personally feel that way. Like, it's not like this is like some random man coming up to me on the street being like, nice tits. Like, assumably this is a man that I'm dating, that I've had sex with. His penis has been inside my mouth, right? So I'm sort of like, yeah, listen, the walls are down. The boundaries they're a little different with this one, okay? Like, if I'm at that point with someone, clearly I like them, and I think that I've verified their character well enough to know that it's a playful thing. It's sexual. It's dominance and submission. It's different. It's not like that. You know? Like, you can call me things during sex that you can't outside of sex. Because in sex, it means something different. It's totally different. Like, I know that people feel controversial about, like, having someone call you a slut or a whore during sex, which I'm not saying that I love that, but I'm not opposed to it either. And I won't be mad if you do. Actually, sometimes I want you to. Like, but it means something different within the context of dirty talk. If you're calling me a slut or a whore outside of the context of dirty talk, you're trying to like hurt my feelings. You're trying to like make me feel like shit about myself. You're trying to shame me. If you call me a slut or a whore in dirty talk during sex, you're calling me a god. You know what I mean? If you're telling me I'm great at my job, like it's a compliment in dirty talk in a way that it's not in everyday life. So I'm just saying words change meaning when you're fucking someone. That's how I feel. It's like when somebody calls you a slut or a whore during sex, it's like, that's a compliment. In sex it is. But you can't just like go around calling me a slut and a whore just like on the street. I mean, like, you're such a fucking slut. I'm like, say it again. You know, it just, words change meaning. These are words within different contexts. They have different meanings. Tits, boobs. Tits is just more sexual to me. It's more charged. So I don't know that you, in dirty talk, say whatever you want. I mean, you could also say boobs in dirty talk, I guess. Depends how you're saying it. I think, honestly, you could say anything. I think you could say breasts in dirty talk, and I would still be like, whoa, okay, Edgar Allan Poe, say it again. like, you're so fucking proper using the word breasts. Oh, my God. We're doing doctor-patient role play over here. So fucking clinical. So I'm cool with that, too. I think the thing is like, tits isn't crazy enough. If you wanted to like really test the bounds, we needed to throw in a word like jugs. Like, can someone get away with saying jugs during dirty talk? My answer is no. I don't think that you can. I think jugs is like inherently a 13-year-old boy speak for women with big boobs. Jugs. It's so funny, though. I do personally love saying the word jugs as a joke. Just because it's funny to me. Also, I feel like I'm allowed to say that word as someone with big boobs. But not that anybody else wouldn't be allowed to say it, but there is something about the word jugs that feels like derogatory. So I'm like, maybe they're not allowed to say it. Like, maybe jugs is like, you have to have them to say it. So it's like, once you're over like a triple D, then we can talk jugs. Under a triple D, we're not talking jugs. You cannot say that word. It's solely for the jugs community. I don't know. Jugs is crazy though. If somebody ever in Dirty Talk was like, I don't even want to say it because it actually sounds so cringe inside my head. Can't say it out loud. Jugs. Yeah, it's very middle school. Very 7th grade boy. But that would really shake things up to learn that somebody was saying jugs during sex. I'm sure that a lot of people do. I've never known anyone to. Like, nobody's ever looked at me and said the word jugs during sex. Or what else do people say besides jugs? Knockers is crazy. Yeah, knockers feels derogatory in any context, actually. Knockers. I don't think I like that. I don't know. Anyways. That's just a sneak peek at some of the beauty that you get in the Emotionally Online submission box. It's really a special place. There's a lot of great minds just coming together over there. So if you'd like to submit a request for advice, an am I the asshole? Tell me about the person you have a crush on. Tell me about the drama in your friend group. Anything that you'd like to bring to the sleepover to present a topic suggestion, a point of debate, anything at all that you'd like to bring to the sleepover, you can go ahead and throw it in that submission box, and I will go through a few of them at the end of every episode. So without further ado, let's jump into a few more that have been catching my eye in the box lately. Hello, Maddie. I'm new to New York and I'm eager to start making friendships. I just left a small town in the Midwest, so I'm not sure how friendly and neighborly it is appropriate to be in New York. I want to make connections, but I don't want to be overly outgoing and have people tell me to fuck off. How do you start new friendships in the city? Well, first of all, I think that's kind of a myth about New Yorkers that people that don't live here tend to have. Like, this idea that New Yorkers are cold and unfriendly, I don't agree with. I've lived here for 8 years, and I've never perceived New Yorkers to be cold or unfriendly. I find that the people from out of town that say that New Yorkers are cold and unfriendly are usually the people with boundary issues. The same way that people say that cats are cold and unfriendly, it's the people with boundary issues that say cats are cold and unfriendly. I think, not to equate New Yorkers to cats, but I think there is a lot of overlap. Obviously, like, the culture of being neighborly is different place to place, but I don't think people in New York don't appreciate being neighborly and kind and considerate, or that they wouldn't give it. I don't know a single person that you could be like too nice to and they'd tell you to fuck off. I just think that's like a myth about how New Yorkers are that I've never personally experienced in the 8 years that I've lived here. Maybe I think people get it confused because I think the way that people show respect and care differs depending on where you are in the country. Like, obviously the idea of like Southern hospitality looks a lot different than how people behave with their neighbors in the North. But I don't think that that means that like one is cold and unfriendly just because it doesn't look the same way that the other does. I don't know. I think people really look out for each other in New York. I feel like I've witnessed so much like community care in the time that I've lived here. I don't know. It really perplexes me when people say that New Yorkers are cold and unfriendly, because it's just, that's not how I've experienced it. But it does feel similar to how like people perceive cats as being cold and unfriendly, and it's like, she's not cold and unfriendly. She just doesn't fucking know you. You know? I don't know. It's like when people perceive someone that's quiet and minding their own business as being like aloof and uncaring, it's like, that's your own problem for perceiving them like that, because that's not what's going on. They're minding their own business. They're being respectful. They're in their own lane. They're being quiet. They're, you know, you're a stranger. Doesn't mean I don't respect you or be kind. It really does feel so much like the way that people talk about cats. I've never put two and two together. Anyways, I think a lot of people are eager to make new friends, whether it's getting to know someone at work or meeting someone over the internet or introducing yourself to some of your neighbors. I think that lots of people are open to making new connections. It's just about finding the right connections for you. But I wouldn't worry about how appropriate it is to be friendly and neighborly, because I don't think anyone's going to tell you to fuck off. I think this is an out-of-towner fear about New York that is not based in truth, personally. My boyfriend plays video games. Usually this is okay. There has been a balance, and I'm always a stand-up for people having their own activities and hobbies. This is healthy, and I have mine too. However, some days, like today, he will be completely absent all day, and I will receive maybe 5 to 7 Instagram reels from him in an 8 to 9 hour period as the only attempt at communication. And yes, I have reached out to him during this time period without response or with minimal response. This bothers me more than I feel it should. He is only this non-responsive when he's gaming on the weekends, but he works full-time too and can't access his phone during the week. Am I wrong to want more from my partner in a day than a few IG reels and a short, dry text in response to something I said? I feel like gaming is one of those hobbies that sucks everything in, and I can't find a way in. I don't think gaming is the problem here, personally. The problem is not that he's playing video games or even that he's playing video games for a long period of time. The problem is that you feel that you haven't had a meaningful interaction with him. I think the problem here is that you want to be having more intimate communication than you are. Sending Instagram reels back and forth is not communicating. That's like, oh, I saw this and thought of you and thought you would think it was funny. I mean, sending 5 to 7 back and forth in a day is kind of a lot as someone that doesn't really do that at all with people. I don't know. It also like kind of hurts my brain to read things like directly quantifying how many messages are being sent back and forth in what period of time and why, because it sort of feels like information that doesn't matter to me. Like, it doesn't really matter how many Instagram reels are sent back and forth or how many hours elapsed in the time that communication was happening, because I don't personally feel that it's that deep. I also think that when we start counting and like quantifying who's doing what and using that as leverage to get mad, I think it makes things a little complicated. But I don't think you need to count any of this, period, because it feels like the reason why you're counting is to like use it as proof of how you're feeling, to like reinforce the idea that like it's not measuring up. He only did this when he could have done this, and you're going to count to get exacts. And I think that is largely unhelpful and just like sort of serves to hurt our own feelings. I think it sort of misses the point, honestly, because you're fixating on something that is not even close to the root of why you're upset. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like the root of this is just that you want to have more quality time and conversations with your partner. Working during the week, so obviously communication can be limited because of that. And on the weekends, you would like to have some carved out quality alone time with them. That's not the fault of video games, and that's also not like something that has anything to do with the Instagram stories being sent back and forth. It just feels like a totally disconnected thing. The root of this is just that you want more quality communication time with them, whether that's in person or over the phone, whatever it is. I think we all function differently in terms of phone communication and what works for us and what doesn't. And something that I find to be true about myself when it comes to like text communication and dating is that I find myself becoming more sensitive to a lack or inconsistency in texting when we don't have enough quality time carved in. Like I don't need to text someone every single day. I don't need to be communicating with someone throughout the day. But that comes with the caveat of like, in order to feel secure in this relationship, I don't need to be in constant communication with you. However, I do need to have like carved out time for meaningful communication with you. I don't need to be texting you throughout the day. I don't need to be doing these like meaningless back and forth with you, but I do need to have time carved out to like feel connected to you, whether that is, meeting up after work and we go get dinner, or we sit on the couch and we just have a chat, share a glass of wine, or you call me an hour before bed and we just lay on the phone and talk. That's fine, right? The reason why I don't need to talk throughout the day is because we have carved in other pockets of time where we're able to have moments of deeper connection. I don't need to be connected to you all the time if I have these moments of like connection that anchor me to you throughout the week. Do you get what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, to me, it's not about frequency of communication. It's about quality of communication and making sure that we're carving out time to really connect with each other. And I think for me, when I start to get more bothered or upset by like a lack of response or a lack of enthusiasm in texting, it's when I don't feel that we have carved out that time for connection. I will only start feeling like frustrated and annoyed with texting stuff when I feel disconnected from you at large, when I feel like there's not been effort put in to like a deeper connection moments. It's not the texting. It's not about the texting. It's never been about the texting. It's about feeling connected to each other and trying to find ways to do that while you're apart, or in between moments between, each time you see each other. And I think figuring out what works for you in a partnership takes time and takes work and takes conversations with you and your partner. I don't think that video games are the problem here, right? Because they should be able to, if they work all week and they want to sit at home and play video games all day on a Saturday, I think they should be able to do that. Fucking, that's what I do sometimes. And it feels great. And it's so fun to just spend all day sitting and playing a game that you enjoy. And if that's what you like doing, I think you should be able to do it. The same way the problem is not that you're not texting every second throughout the day. The problem is not that he's spending an afternoon playing video games without speaking to you. The problem is that you don't have carved out points of connection to help you feel secure. So I think you just need to open a conversation about communication cadence and what's going to feel good for you, and trying to carve in more moments of connection to your schedules. If he knows that he wants to spend his Saturday playing video games and he's going to be pretty unreachable while he does that, maybe you guys can plan to talk on the phone later that night. Maybe you can plan to go to dinner together, watch a movie together. I don't know, do something. Just actually put something on the plan. Actually plan time to connect with each other. I think I am just I'm against docking people for texting habits because, number one, I'm not great at texting. But also, number two, I think that it's usually sort of like a cover-up reason for why you're upset and not the real reason why you're upset. You're not upset because you're not texting 24/7. You're upset because you don't feel connected. These are two different things, right? And I think it's more helpful to zero in on what the actual problem is. And the actual problem is not the lack of texting throughout the day, and it's also not the video games. The problem is that you don't feel connected. So let's think about how we can feel more connected to our partner. What would help you feel more connected to your partner, and how can you two figure that out and plan something together? Make a little game plan here. But I don't think the texting cadence nor him playing video games is the problem. And I also think that it would almost be like counterproductive to the conversation to make that the center point of what's wrong. Because it's not. It has nothing to do with the video games, right? But I think that's like where your brain is latching on to. But I don't think that's really what it is. Because there's plenty of people who play video games that are also in communicative, healthy relationships. So I think both can exist. But you guys just have to be on the same page, and you have to incorporate, points of connection throughout the week. You need to prioritize connecting with each other, especially when you got busy work schedules, and also you want to carve out time for yourself to do what's fun for you and pursue your own hobbies and interests. So it's about planning and putting in the effort to carve out that time. So this sounds like it's just a sign that it's time to have a conversation about what works. But I do not think that video games are the problem. And I also don't think that sending Instagram reels 5 to 7 times throughout the day is the problem. I can't tell if you think that's too much or not enough. I just think it's totally it's just unrelated entirely to this in my mind. Just seems like a conversation needs to be had. Anyways, have any of you guys been watching Love Island Games? I know it came out on November 1st. It's on Peacock, but I haven't even started watching it. Number one, because I don't have Peacock and I don't feel like buying it. I will, because I do want to watch Love Island Games, but yeah, I haven't started yet. And I really haven't seen anyone talking about it, which is also why I haven't been motivated to watch it, because I've been like, why is no one talking about it? The fact that nobody's talking about it makes me feel like it's not good, because people be talking about Love Island. On my feed especially, bitch. It's all I talked about all summer. So I don't know. Love Island Games, not it. Consensus? I feel like I'm going to have to watch to form my own opinions on it. But if any of you guys are watching Love Island Games and have thoughts, let me know before I buy Peacock and dive into watching this. That's it for this episode. If you are craving some more of me in your week, remember that I do have a YouTube channel at Maddie Drosbeck, and that's also where you can find me on Instagram as well, at Maddie Drosbeck. So if you're craving some more Maddie in your week, be sure to follow me on my other social platforms. And again, be sure to submit any of your advice requests, am I the assholes, drama, crush stories, topic requests, anything and everything in the submission box. And maybe, just maybe, I will talk about it next week. So with that, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next